All right, everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always ready.
Awesome. Today, we're looking at some interesting moves in the Singapore market.
Sounds good.
Just a few companies making headlines. Ones to keep an eye on. The kind. We've got a data center REIT shaking things up, some action from the big banks, a shipbuilding company making waves, and even a sustainable fuel play.
Wow. Quite a mix.
It is. So, let's dive in. First up, Keppel DC REIT. They just pulled off a pretty impressive preferential offering.
Yeah, I saw that.
Raising a cool $301.3 million.
Not bad at all.
And get this, it was oversubscribed, like way oversubscribed.
How much are we talking?
Almost 160%.
Wow. Investors are really liking what they see, huh?
Seems like it. But hold on, before we go any further, maybe you can give us a quick breakdown of what a preferential offering is, just for anyone who might not be familiar.
Absolutely. In a nutshell, it's when a company offers new shares, but gives existing shareholders the first chance to buy them.
So, little reward for loyalty.
Exactly. And usually those shares are offered at a discount, which makes them even more attractive.
I see. So, why would a REIT like Keppel DC go this route?
Well, a couple reasons. They might want to raise capital quickly, and since they're already dealing with shareholders who know the company, it can be a pretty efficient way to do it.
Right. Less hassle than going out to the broader market.
Exactly. And in Keppel DC's case, this offering is actually just one piece of a much bigger puzzle.
Oh, tell me more.
They're aiming to raise a whopping $1.1 billion in total through equity fundraising.
Whoa, that's the ambitious. What could they be planning with all that cash?
Well, if you look at the big picture, the data center market is booming. It's all about digital infrastructure these days. And Keppel DC probably wants to be in the best position to capitalize on that.
Makes sense. So,
yeah.
Maybe acquisitions, snapping up existing data centers to expand their portfolio.
Could be. That'd give them a pretty quick boost in market share. Or they might be thinking about developing brand new facilities, especially with the growing demand for data storage and all that.
That's a good point. Data centers are kind of like the foundation of the whole digital world these days.
Exactly. So Keppel DC might be making some strategic moves to solidify their place in that world.
Sounds like it. Okay, let's switch gears a bit. How about those Singapore banks, huh? They had a bit of an interesting day.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Kind of a roller coaster ride, wasn't it?
It was. All three started the day in the red, but they managed to rally and close in positive territory.
Always a relief to end on a high note. What were the closing numbers, by the way?
Let's see. DBS ended at $43.80, up 0.3%. UOB finished at $37.25, a 0.4% gain. And OCBC was the strongest of the bunch, closing at $16.80 with a 1% increase.
Not bad at all. But what's driving all this volatility? Is it just normal market jitters? Or is there something bigger at play?
Well, the economic landscape in Singapore is a little more complicated these days. You've got some headwinds like the slowdown in global growth and that pesky inflation.
Right, those are definitely factors.
Yeah, and those things can definitely spook investors. But on the flip side, Singapore's a major financial hub. It's got resilience.
True, and these banks have seen their fair share of ups and downs over the years.
Exactly, so maybe those closing prices, it's a reflection of that, that uncertainty, the balance between challenges and strengths.
Yeah. Could be. Investors trying to figure out which way the wind is blowing.
That's the market for you. Always keeping us on our toes.
All right, well, let's move on to a company that had a much smoother ride today. Yangtze Jiang Shipbuilding. Top gainer on the STI.
Oh, really?
Yep, closed up 2.2% at $2.81.
Interesting. The shipbuilding industry can be a bit of a roller coaster itself. It's a very cyclical sector.
Totally. But it seems like Yangzijiang's riding a wave right now. What's your take on that?
Well, even though global trade is facing some headwinds, we're still talking about a massive market, and it seems like Yangzijiang is well-positioned to benefit from that.
What makes them say no?
They've got a solid track record, known for efficiency, quality, and just generally running a tight ship.
Nice one. But seriously, could this be a sign that the broader shipping and logistics industry is on the upswing?
It's possible, but it's probably too early to say for sure. Yangzijiang's success could be specific to them, or it could be a signal of something bigger. We'll need more data to get a clearer picture.
Fair enough. All right, let's wrap things up with our final company for today, Oiltech. They're in a pretty fascinating space, engineering processes for vegetable and edible oils.
Yeah, and they're getting a lot of attention lately.
For good reason. They just got buy calls from both UOB Kay Hine and Lemon Tan Securities, two pretty big names in the analyst world.
Definitely a big vote of confidence.
Yeah.
And there are a couple of things driving that positive sentiment.
Like what?
First off, their order book is looking really healthy. Loads of business lined up, which is always a good sign.
Definitely. What else?
They're also tapping into the growing demand for sustainable aviation fuel. SF, as it's called.
Ah, right. Everyone's talking about SAF these days.
Yeah, it's a big deal. And Oiltech is already involved in projects to produce feedstock for SAF, so they're well positioned to ride that wave.
So they're not just sticking with traditional oils, they're making a move into this whole new sustainable fuel landscape.
Exactly, and that expertise in oil processing gives them a head start as they move into this new market.
Smart move. All right, let's do a quick recap of what we've covered today. We've got a data center REIT that could be gearing up for some serious expansion.
Right.
Some mixed signals from the banks as they navigate, the current economic landscape.
Yep.
A shipbuilding company that's sailing strong.
And a fuel technology company that's riding the wave of sustainability.
Boom. There you have it. A pretty good snapshot of what's happening in the Singapore market right now, wouldn't you say?
I would. It's a really interesting mix of companies and sectors.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show how interconnected everything is.
Totally. Global trends playing out in specific companies and industries.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
It really is. And it reminds us that staying informed, understanding these trends, it can really help investors make smarter decisions.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Well, thanks for this fantastic deep dive into the Singapore market.
My pleasure.
And for everyone listening, keep exploring, stay curious. We'll see you next time.